Welcome friends, this is Dave.
And I'm a Jacob.
And today we're picking our favourite gaming gear released in the year of our Lord 2018.
His cat, Dave, calls her our Lord. He is kind to her.
Yes, I am. So yes, these are our picks. Feel free to disagree and tell us how wrong we are in the comments below.
We read them all, and sometimes it really hurts.
Yeah, sometimes it really does. It's been a bit of a weird year for all concerned in PC gaming. We've had struggles trying to come up with our own Game of the Year, and it's been much the same with many of our component choices too.
That's partly because the word of the year in PC hardware has been bottleneck. No matter whether you're talking about a super high-end mega-core CPU or a mighty new graphics card, there has always been something holding it back from greatness.
That's mainly at the high end, however, and it's impossible to deny that there is more choice in a wider spread of component categories than ever before, and a higher level of performance at any given price point.
So let's start with...
It was always going to be a second-gen AMD Ryzen CPU sitting at the top of this list. This has been the year that the Red Team proved that the first-gen chips weren't just a flash in the pan, and has been able to prove that AMD's processors are here to stay.
Pinnacle Ridge might not have been a huge change compared with the previous Summit Ridge CPUs, architecturally speaking, but the 12nm shrink boosted efficiency and the little refinements AMD dropped into the new design has helped make Ryzen chips genuine contenders for the gaming CPU crown once more.
The Ryzen 5 2600 is our absolute favourite too, for its mix of serious 6-core, 12-thread processing performance and a price tag that can't be beat.
It's as capable as the more expensive 2600X with a little judicious overclocking and can compete with any equivalent Intel chip in gaming terms too.
There have been more powerful gaming chips released this year. The i9 9900K and i7 9700K are both cases in point, but both are pricing themselves out of reach of most of us gamers.
Now, hear us out. You're probably going to see this as quite a contentious pick for best graphics card.
Yeah, I mean, it is essentially just an overclocked version of a 2-year-old GPU after all.
But this has been a horrible year for graphics cards, not least because for most of it, the mining gold rush kept stock low and prices artificially high. At least now there is stock of a host of GPUs, though that's causing its own problems.
Yeah, but the RX 590 has been a little ray of sunshine, though not necessarily because of its own Polaris GPU.
Yeah, it's more because of the fact it actually made the RX 580 genuinely affordable again, dropping below $200 on occasion. When for most of 2018 gamers have been priced out of mid-range gaming GPUs, the release of the RX 590 and the subsequent price drop of the RX 580 was a watershed moment.
So really we're kind of giving the win to the RX 580, but couldn't really say that.
We could have also made a case for Nvidia's RTX 2080 Ti, as it was the only gaming card released this year to really move performance and fidelity on. And maybe if Battlefield 5 wasn't the only card-carrying member of the real-time ray tracing club, the GeForce GPU could have gotten top billing.
For its name alone, the Philips Momentum 436M6VBPAB gets our vote as the best gaming monitor released this year. Just trips off the tongue, doesn't it?
Well, that and the fact it's 43 inches of 4K screen real estate and surprisingly affordable price tag help make PC gaming great again.
That makes me want to salute something, and I don't really know why. Anyways, sure, the HDR functionality isn't really up there on par with the best HDR TVs out there, but the PC is still having a nightmare joining the dots on HDR gaming, so we don't really count that against it.
And if you want to game at 4K, you need a massive monitor to really do it justice.
There is a certain amount of dithering if you press your nose up close to the screen, but the sheer majesty of 4K gaming writ large across a 43-inch monitor, that's hard to beat. And it comes with that lovely amber glow downlighting too, that, you know, that RGB LED that us gamers love, right? Right?
This must be the least controversial choice on the list. In 2018, the best SSDs just got better, with Samsung stepping up both its SATA and NVMe solid-state game.
But it's the 970 EVO that takes our pick for the finest SSD of the year. It might only be iterating on the 960 EVO, but with a faster memory controller, it can really make great use of that 3D 3-bit MLC memory at its heart.
Samsung has also given its cache pool a LPDDR4 makeover this time around, and has such confidence in its product it has slapped another couple of years onto the warranty too.
All that and it turned up at the same price as its predecessor, which means around now it's a pretty darn good price for such a speedy SSD.
The classic Corsair K70 has long been our favourite gaming keyboard, but since it first arrived, none of the updates the company has made to it have really done much to improve upon the already excellent design.
Yeah, even this year's Mark II design didn't really float our metaphorical boat, until it started using those exclusive low-profile Cherry MX mechanical switches, that is.
It does have a rather premium price tag.
That means it's freaking expensive.
But the low-profile keyboard is both gorgeous to type on and to game on. It feels less tiring, giving the flatter layout, and looks far sleeker than the chunkier mechanical alternatives too.
Yeah, it may be a pricey old board, but if you want a mechanical keyboard convert before this, the low-profile K70 will make a believer out of you.
It's not just the best gaming mouse of 2018, and it's not even just the best wireless mouse. The Logitech G Pro Wireless is quite simply the ultimate gaming mouse. It's sleek, stylish, and delivers impeccable performance.
Yes, in short, it simply can't be pecked.
No, it cannot. Its restrained looks might not scream gaming, like some desperate rodents out there craving our attention and begging to be loved, but it doesn't need to.
No, the wireless light-speed connection is flawless, and fast enough that you'd never notice the difference between it and a wired version. Professional esports gamers are content to use this wireless mouse in competition, and it even made our Jacob a better Overwatch player himself.
It was much needed. It's genuinely the best gaming mouse around right now, wireless or no.
Corsair pulled off a bit of a coup this year, bringing out a gaming headset that really made us sit up and take notice. The HS70 has decent audio chops and some stylish HyperX Cloud aping good looks, but it's the combination of wireless connection and a great price that makes it such a good headset.
Overall, we're still head over heels in love with the HyperX Cloud Alpha, but Corsair has almost taken a leaf out of its value playbook right here.
Yeah, the HS70 might only be sporting a standard 20 to 20,000 Hz frequency response, but the 50mm neodymium drivers are still able to deliver impressive audio clarity and detail across that 2.4 GHz wireless connection.
And with a 16-hour battery life, they'll do it for the length of a healthy gaming session, and an unhealthy one too.
But it's the fact that Corsair has eschewed the usual wireless tax and is offering this quality gaming headset for less than $100 and making it wireless, well, that's what makes it stand out from the crowd.
When we first heard at Computex that AMD was upping the core count of its next-gen Threadripper processors, we were definitely surprised. So were you, given the incredulity which our pre-announcement reveal was greeted with.
But we were even more surprised when AMD announced just how far it was taking things, and went on to announce a 32-core processor for our desktop PCs, and one that didn't need industrial air conditioning units strapped to it just to make a simple demo run either.
Again, it prompted Intel to go to town on its own side, getting its 28-core CPU unveiled and an 18-core chip prepped for the desktop in the Core i9-9980XE. But AMD still owns processor core counts, and that's not going to change with Zen 2 coming next year.
So what the hell is up with HDR gaming on PC? There is some game support and a certain level of hardware support, and yet still HDR gaming is practically dead in the water on PC.
And yet on the consoles, it's a different story. By hooking up with HDR-capable TVs, HDR gaming on consoles just works. Why the hell is the PC so different?
Even with the Asus ROG PG27UQ, supposedly one of the finest HDR panels for PC, we can't deliver a satisfying HDR gaming experience. Partly that's down to the hardware.
Yeah, I mean, IPS for black levels and contrast, really?
But there are also serious issues with the software.
That's not just the games either. Windows seems to struggle figuring out whether HDR is on or off, and whether the screen connected to it is capable of it.
Not only that, there are so many different places where you can turn on HDR that it can be a minefield knowing which one will work with which game. Do you do it in the Windows display settings? Do you do it on the monitor? Or do you have to get it all set up in game first? Or do you have to do all three?
HDR gaming on PC was a nightmare in 2018 and absolutely needs to improve in 2019.
Okay, I admit it, I love the RTX 2080 Ti, mostly for its bravado and its success. I mean, it's the only card released this year to genuinely add a new level of gaming performance.
Yeah, but it only really got released at the same time as the RTX 2080, so there actually was something with a new level of gaming performance in the Turing generation. The RTX 2080 only just trades blows with the existing, similarly priced GTX 1080 Ti. Yeah,
and the RTX 2080 Ti is a lot of money for that extra performance too. But what it does have is the ultimate in real-time ray tracing performance in games. Sorry, in game. There is only one out there at the moment, and that's Battlefield 5.
Don't get us wrong, it's a great game, and the DXR RTX ray tracing looks stunning too. But with no other titles using ray tracing, and only Final Fantasy 15 sporting the impressive DLSS features, there's still a lot of goodness waiting to be squeezed out of Nvidia's best gaming GPU.
Yeah, leaving owners with only one question. When?
Guys, really guys. What were you thinking here? If your gaming headset is getting too hot around your ears to the point where it needs to be actively cooled using a juice-guzzling Peltier cooler, then you've got some serious design issues with your cans.
Yeah, the Omen Mindframe might be the coolest headset out there on the market, but the necessary heat exchange means it gets mighty toasty on the outside.
And it generates condensation too, just what you want on the inside of a $200 powered headset. Yep, $200.
Yeah, you must really have some hot old ears in desperate need of cooling if you want to spend $200 on a gaming headset with only slightly above average audio chops.
To be fair, we almost handed this award over to the Razer Nari Ultimate with its head-thumping Hypersense haptic feedback, but even having your skull vibrating isn't quite as bad as a cold, drippy experience of the Mindframe. So that's our personal pick of the hardware released in the last year.
Yeah, so let us know what you think in the comments and tell us what your favourite 2018 PC hardware has been.
Thanks for watching. Remember to do all that like, subscribe, bell ringing, good stuff, and check back here and on PCGamesN.com for more PC gaming and hardware goodness.
Goodbye!
Bye!